hello. How everybody doing on this lovely Tuesday afternoon? And this is the Self-Care Check podcast, and we always started with a thunderous, do you care about your self-care? Yeah! Oh, man, and it just feels good to always hear that back and hear people say yes, 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 yes to caring about their self-care. And self-care is you loving who you are, where you are at as you grow and move forward. And what we're talking today about on this month of harm reduction is family interactions. And family interactions, it's all about how you and your loved ones interact with one another in conveying love. And out of love, it brings understanding, it brings peace, and it brings a harmony between you and the individuals in your household in such a way that it's a magnifying glow that people outside your home will see. Sometimes it may even make them want to gravitate towards you because of the love in which is being shown to you to have and help you move forward in your life. Because we need love, not just because we need it, but we have to also give it. Because when we give it, we receive it back abundantly. Because you're giving abundantly. And on that topic, I'm just going to straight jump into it because the fact that it's a lot of families that don't know how to really sit down with their family and talk and give an awareness of the things that are outside the home other than what we know that's inside the house. So our first question today is, what is the awareness that brought light in your life from your parents that they taught you to give you an awareness of what's outside the house is outside the house and what's in the house is in the house?
Um, Thank you, Easy, for this topic. Family interaction during Harm Reduction Month is so important, particularly as we're focusing in on this is Overdose Awareness Month.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of folks predispose themselves to illicit substance use because they are emotionally distraught.
And sometimes it could even be the parents in the house going through these symptoms as far as having alcohol and drugs, and the children don't understand why their parents are doing it.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because I grew up in a home where my parents were alcoholics. But nevertheless, they instilled family unity.
Yes.
At the same time. It was 9 brothers and sisters. And one of the things that they instilled during our family interactions is unity.
Yes.
If one got, all have.
Yes.
If one can't get, none can't get. It was a trip. If you brought something home, it better be enough for all of them.
All of us. Oh, you got gum? You better have some gum for me too.
We be coming in the house like this. What you got? I ain't got nothing left. But it taught us family unity.
Yes. Anybody else?
Yes. Some of the things that family instilled in me as I was growing up about talking to strangers, they made us aware that the places that we shouldn't go. You know, one of the things that we had was we had to be in the house before the sun went down. And I never understood why my parents would put such I thought it was a penalty on us of being in the house before the sun go down, because we didn't understand things happen in the dark.
And it brought time management.
That there was, things that was harmful for us being outside at night.
Yeah.
So they saw things that we couldn't see or understand at that time.
And sometimes parents didn't have to always explain it to the child, but that doesn't mean you don't have to. You know, like, and because with Bobby, I can really gravitate onto what you're saying from that aspect, because I actually did at one point grow up where I had to be in the house as a child. When the lights came down, when the lights turned on, and then as time went by through gradual of situations, right, or situationships that was going on in the household, that time management to hold on to and being in the house was kind of gone by the time I got a little older. Not because I just chose a little bit, but just how to do things on my own. But yes, in the household, sometimes the parent can forget or stray off because of the situations happening in the house as far as substance or interactions with other people that don't bring a positive outlook. Anybody else?
Yes, me. In my household, it would be alcohol syndrome or alcohol dis- disorder or something. My mom, with her, it was like life and death. My father, he drank, but it's like rarely now. And my brother, basically died from alcohol. So all of that did brought a toll because I wasn't able to like live my life. I had to like take care of my mom and my brother, especially my brother, because when he got drunk, we never know what happened. He got beat up, he got robbed, he got busted up, and he couldn't feel it because he was so high. And it's like I really didn't have a childhood because I was like his mother.
Yes.
I had to make sure he was okay. If I didn't know that he was his jaw was broken, I want to know what happened. So it's like I had to take care of him and my mom. With her, it was like life and death. Either you want to continue living or do you want to die? Because it was messing on her kidney. So it's like I see all of that, and it's like to me, it taught me a lesson. It's like, okay, this is not for me. Like when I go to the store, I think of my mom and my brother. Like, where would they been if they didn't choose their life?
Yes.
So it's just like it definitely taught me a whole lot. Like now I'm able to live my life because rest my brother's soul is like he's in a better place. My mom, she had not drank ever since the doctor said, you know, it was life and death. That was like over 20 years now. Because like you said, some people can't stop.
Yeah.
Like some people drink as soon as they get up until soon they go to bed, and they function real good.
Yeah,
So it's just like it just took a toll because I wanted like my childhood, but I couldn't because I had to take care of them.
Yes.
But it's like now that she's in a good place and my brother, you know, up in heaven, it's like I'm free. So it's just like it definitely taught me a whole lot, and I'm glad to be able to learn about the harm reduction and ORT because now I could take this information and be able to teach somebody else or what somebody going through as a caregiver and somebody love the signs and how to approach it without feeling like discouraged because I kind of like did blame myself that my brother passed because I should save them, but I couldn't because like we had talked about you don't know the day or the time that you're gonna go.
Yes, nobody does.
I had the information, but now I have the information now. I could better somebody else if they're in the same predicament as I went to years back then. So thank you.
You're right. And Angela, and to Angela and to a lot of the people that are dealing with family members that deal with alcoholism, drunkism, however you want to call the ism, to your families are dealing with the traumas that you're not dealing with through you based upon your actions of being drunk or intoxicating or feeling that you need this substance to drown the pain away. It doesn't go away. And you know that. I'm not going to talk to you like you're a child. I'm going to talk to you as an adult. You are only causing more harm to those around you because you are the center of your universe. Your family is your universe. They are your moon, your stars, and planets that surround you. You are the sun. You are radiating love and power towards them. You are empowering them just as much as you are weakening them based upon your weaknesses that you will not let go. And brings us to our second question based off of weaknesses. What brings a person to suicide?
Yeah, I think what happens is a person just don't come to suicide just like that. And I had taken some medication that wasn't agreeing with me, and it started making me feel other than myself.
Right.
The feelings that I got, I didn't know what to do with them. I know how to express myself, but I couldn't express what I was feeling because it was different.
Yes.
And it was just a nagging. And after a while, you know, I had these thoughts about, listen, I need some peace from this thing. I just need to get away from it. And it seems like nothing was working. You know, even through prayer, I was still at that place. And the thoughts came where it would be better. So I think what happens is what brings a person to suicide. One person just stated stress.
Yes.
And because of the medication, I was under a lot of stress, and I wasn't thinking, normal or rational. I was just looking for relief. And at one point, not living was a way of like looking for relief.
It seems so easy.
And it seemed so easy, and it would take the pain away. So, and for some people, it could be pain.
Right.
The loss.
Yes.
One of the things that I learned here in Tier 1 is how to deal with grief.
Yeah.
Because at one point, I thought grief was all about death. And then to find out that grief is about loss.
So much.
And it could be the loss of a loved one, or a girlfriend, or a marriage,
Job.
to go a job, absolutely, to go into a depression, and then that's another level. But for me, it wasn't even depression that was making me have suicide thoughts. It was just the pain that I was in, and it was just nagging, and I wanted to stop.
Is there anyone else?
I could kind of relate to Bobby. Not only like you said, stress, like the nagging, the aggravation. Before my brother got sick, I kind of, had them thoughts like, what would happen if I take all these pills at once? What would happen if I walk in front of the bus? Like, how would that be? And I didn't know, like Bobby said, the depression, the anxiety, all that, add up. Like you said, I wasn't at peace. I needed peace, and that's the only way I thought my peace could be. It's like, okay, what happened if I took all these pills? Like, will I be good? But then I realized if I did that, my family, how would they live?
Yes.
How would that affect them? Our children,
Yes.
my husband, like my father, like how would it affect them? I'm taking the easy way out, but now it's just. It's like with Tier 1, it helped me. Like Bobby said, grief could be, like you said, a person, or just just going through a lot. And I was going through a lot, and just didn't know how to deal with it or who to talk to.
Yeah.
I could talk to a lot of people, but sometimes I just didn't want their opinion. I just want somebody to listen, and I get that here, and then like I feel good. I don't have them thoughts of what happened if I took all these pills, or what happened if I just lay in the tub for a minute? So, basically, yeah. So that's why with Tier 1, it showed me about the grief, like how to do the steps of it, and it's okay.
Yes.
And like you said, you will never get over it, but it's how you deal with it. And
Yes,
right now,
that makes you strong.
I'm at a better spot.
And I also think, let's give her a hand. I think hopelessness is the driving force behind suicide, hopelessness. And that's why our program offers spirituality, which brings hope and faith.
Right. Yes.
There's always something to hope for. And it allows you to tap into another dimension outside of yourself.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's the easy way out. To me, suicide is hard.
Yes, it is.
Hallelujah. You gotta make a decision
That's right.
that you are gonna
Yes.
just end this.
Everything.
So that means it has to be no hope nowhere.
Right.
And I just feel like spirituality provides hope. And so harm reduction, there's an element of hope that assistance helps with harm reduction.
Yes.
It minimizes the harm. It says, well, perhaps do this. Or perhaps life, we can go on without that X.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
My life was just, I'm a divorcee. My life was in my marriage. And when that ended, I had a sense of hopelessness. But somewhere in there, in the deep depths of that despair, came hope. That there's a brighter tomorrow. And I just picked it up and just kept on going. But so even the overdose, this is overdose awareness month.
Yes.
Awareness means what are those things that will even make you want to use?
That's
Yes.
Right? To the point of just give me something to self-medicate. So I just think at the end of the day that spirituality goes a long way.
Have another. Yes.
Ezekiel, I just want to speak on, I want to piggyback off what Dr. Moody said about suicide. And first and foremost, there's a scripture that said that there will be some that will try to commit suicide and won't. And I'm mentioning that because there was a program I was watching. This young man tried to commit suicide by drinking, what you call that, go inside your car? Antifreeze. And yeah, and so what happened, it had all of his intestinals came outside. So he didn't die, so he has to live that way for forever.
Wow.
Yeah. So here's what happened. We're not sure if once you commit suicide, if it's really over. We don't know.
No,
because no one ever died and came back to say so.
Right. That's right.
And then I want to speak on something that Bobby said about the medicine. Medicine can make you suicidal. And my doctor had given me some medicine for my HDL or something, and on it says it can also cause SJS, Stevens-Johnson syndrome. So I don't know if you know what Stevens-Johnson syndrome is. Stevens-Johnson syndrome is a disease that it has your skin bubbling. I mean, it looks like your skin starts falling off. And I know this because my niece in Florida, she had Stevens-Johnson syndrome. And if you look it up, it's horrible. So you really have to be careful with the medicine that you take. You really have to read the side effects before you take it, because the doctors aren't going to tell you, because it can cause suicidal thoughts.
And I would like to share something with everybody here. Something Dr. Moody knows. A few people I have shared it with. Just speaking on suicide. There's a place in Paterson that I used to go. They can't go there now because they built Heathcliff Stadium. They took away this little back walkway that I used to take. I had a spot that I would call the Cliff. And I called it the Cliff because I was actually going to jump one time. I felt lost. I felt unloved. I felt like nobody cared. Like, just, who cares? And I stood up there. And the view up there is so beautiful. It's such a beautiful view of Paterson that it can take your breath away. Like, literally, it would take your breath away if you stood up there and looked at it. Just looked at the city. That while I was up there thinking my hopelessness, getting ready to jump, I had a flashback of when I was 6, when I had my first death experience. Because now I'm comparing what I went through already and what I'm about to put myself through. They're two different things. I was in water. I drowned, but got mouth-to-mouth resuscitation and came back. I'm about to jump off a cliff and hit the ground. There is no mouth-to-mouth resuscitation after that. You know, I just got to pray to the Father that I'm going to live from this. But how can I think that if I'm ready to take away my life? Yeah, that was a sign. Like, I'm glad you didn't. But so it's good to laugh about it now because it's worth laughing about. Because what didn't kill you today gonna make you laugh tomorrow, right? It's definitely gonna make you laugh because you're gonna be like, yo, I was being silly. That was stupid of me. But I do want to finish the story though. I stood up there and I did jump, but I didn't jump off. I just jumped as high as I could and just reached and just reached to the sky. And when I hit the ground that I was standing on, right, I took a deep breath and got down on my hands and started praying. And I made that spot my workout spot for about 1.5 years. And I say that because all those memories from when I was 6, from that out-of-body experience and from that undertow I was caught in, to that moment, I thought about my birthdays, my nieces, my nephews, my mother, the good times, the sad times, and it was just a fluster of memories that I had to realize I'm leaving this behind. And I have yet to set a structure for them to know that I truly love them by living my life to its fullest. To its fullest. So I'm going to jump to the third and final question. How do we protect ourselves from negative influence?
Surrounding yourself with positive people. Surrounding yourself with people that's gonna lift you up, not bring you down. Surrounding yourself with people that's gonna bring out the best in you, not the mess out you.
Yes. Yes.
Just like speaking for self, like how I did. Surrounded myself with people that's gonna elevate me. And now look what God is doing along with Tier 1 and Dr. Moody. So that's what we gotta learn how to do. Separate ourselves from the negativity.
Attachment.
From all that, because like I said, I can't swim in that water no more. You know? So now that God brought me above water, I could just walk like George Jefferson.
Say it.
So I just thank God for this, and this is a great podcast.
I thank you for your response, man.
You can't really protect yourself from negative influences. I believe spirituality serves as a filter. It filters in information. Because sometimes it's just said, or it's just seen. And something in me filters, and so I don't let it go past my gates. I don't let it enter into my soul. And so, yeah.
That's good. That is
I know this is a spiritual program, but they talk about putting on the whole armor of God.
Come on now.
Okay.
One of the things I find out is that negative influences could be family members or your best friend.
You better say that.
And sometimes even in
best
situations like you be hurt by a relationship and you have a best friend tell you, oh, well, go out and cheat on her. And those are the times that, hey, our opinion, his judgment. And like Dr. Moody says, is sometimes, I have to be able to discern what's, like he said, entering into my gates. Because sometimes we just can't get away from it all. It may be on our job, and somebody telling you to go against the policies of a job, because of their belief system. And I found out what happens in this situation is that, they have this thing that you stand for something or you fall for anything.
Yes.
We have to have some beliefs for ourselves. I have to believe in me and my higher power. That when I hear something that it doesn't feel right, then maybe I need to bounce it off somebody else. Thank God for support groups and mentorship.
Yes.
One of the things here in Tier 1, we have all that here. We sponsor each other.
Yes.
Here. At any given time, someone can be my mentor.
That's right.
And I leave that open because I believe in this program and I believe in this process that's here at Tier 1.
Amen.
So I think it's one of those things where we have to individually get something to hold on to. So when everything's failed, that we still got that solid thing to hold on to. And for me, that's God.
But I also like how your theme says how to bring family closer through awareness.
Yes.
Right? There are some things that now we got to talk about.
Yes,
That
definitely.
maybe before we just didn't feel like talking about. You can't afford not to talk about them.
can't.
And so those interactions become more significant
Yes.
as the OGs are feeding into the younger Gs, and the elder women are feeding into. Look at this boy still flexing his muscles. That's harm reduction right there. Thank you, Easy. Good podcast.
Thank you, God. You made it possible. So, with all of these beautiful stories that we've shared with you, and what we've overcome in our life, and yet even still now, there are obstacles in our life. I dare you to challenge yourself to overcome everything that comes your way. I challenge you to wake up in the morning with a positive mind and a positive heart with love on your tongue. May you have a beautiful day, evening, night, and life. This is Tier 1 Self-Care Check Podcast. Do you care about your self-care? We always still say, yeah! Good night.